Hello, and welcome to another edition of One Bad Veggies Root Beer Review, where in this review we'll find out if Frostop has what it takes to become the top root beer. And this is actually the second take that I've done trying to record this intro, because the first time I was talking about a completely different root beer because I don't know how to read. No, that's not true. But no, we're doing Frostop. It is a re-review. I did look up the previous review from the blog just to understand what I was getting into a little bit with this one. Although so far, you know, I should do a comparison to look up all the re-reviews compared to the previous reviews to see how many root beers have improved or been the same or fallen below. Be interesting just for consistency's sake to find that out. But anyway, yeah, so we're doing Frostop, which I believe was a burger chain at one point, and the root beer is kind of just a byproduct of the restaurant from the past, kind of like A&W, I guess, in that way that, you know, there's A&W restaurants that serve A&W root beer. This is kind of similar to that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the ingredients, which should be appearing right there. And as you can see, these are very standard: cane sugar, natural artificial flavors, sodium benzoate as a preservative, etc., etc., etc. Very standard ingredients for this one. But let's go ahead and take a look at the bottle. As you can see, Frostop Premium Root Beer. Get a closer look at that. Their whole thing is, like I said, it's a restaurant that literally, if you look up pictures of the restaurant, they literally have those giant mugs on top of the restaurants that say Frostop Root Beer. Says nothing tops it but the foam. So we'll see about that. But yeah, I mean, if you're going to focus your entire brand around how good your root beer is, better be pretty good, right? I mean, let's look at A&W. A&W is a good standard root beer. No, it's not the best, but it's still good. So hopefully Frostop at least can get to those kind of places where it's commendable. But yeah, anyway, I just think that's interesting that the root beer is what they use to sell their burgers, basically burgers, hot dogs. I'm sure, you know, it's probably American style. It looks like drive-in, like it's like an old drive-in sort of thing. So maybe the food's kind of like old drive-in food, which would just basically consist of burgers and hot dogs and stuff. But anyway, I guess I'm really into this whole drive-through restaurant thing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and take a look at that foam that's being referenced on the bottle. So complete disclosure, I am off my game today. I said the foam. We're actually going to be opening up the top of this and getting a little sniff. Everyone loves the sniff, right? Well, it looks like Frostop is not a pop top, so that's good. Easy. Let's see. Ooh. Okay. So, right off the top, I don't want to close it up just yet. Yeah. So off the top, it just kind of hits you with a lot of sweetness and, you know, normal stuff. But the back end is very licorice. And we all know how I feel about that. So, as I said before, I previously know what the last score was. At least I didn't read the review. I just kind of looked up the score, and it's starting to make a little bit of sense now. But before we get there, let's go ahead and now we can check the pour in the foam. So Frostop, you say that the only thing that can top your root beer is the foam. Let's go ahead and find that out with our trusty mug, of course. And let's go ahead and open this back up and get a little pour. Thank you, Google. Oh no, I overflowed. That's okay. I mean, hey, look at that foam. It's definitely foamy. Okay, wait, what am I doing? Let's get ourselves a taste of that. That's a lot of foam, but let's taste it. Oh wow, look at that. If you can't see it, it did start to overflow, but it actually froze to the side of the glass. That's pretty cool. Not intentional, but pretty cool. Let's go and take. Yeah. It's what you would call, like, I've seen the term thrown around, a spicy root beer, which of course people enjoy that a lot. There's a lot of flavors to it. I'll give it that for sure. But so far the flavor profile isn't something that I prefer. So I will say though, like, look at that. Like, the foam's barely gone down. That's pretty cool. Let me take another taste of the foam. I got so much foam, I might as well taste it, right? But yeah, it's like the foam itself isn't very sweet or anything like that. You can't really taste, sweet being relative to other root beers, I should say, because it is sweet. It's always sweet. You never take a sip of root beer and be like, this tastes like a steak, but as far as, like, let's say the profiles of like vanilla and things like that, you're not getting a whole lot of that. There's a little bit in there, but it's mostly like licorice sort of flavor. So which is kind of what I suspected after the fact, I mean, like I said, well, let's just go ahead and get into the taste test, and then we can talk about ratings after that. All right, the foam's gone down enough so that I can get a good drink of it now. So bottoms up. So with this one, full transparency, the review I gave it in the past on the blog was a D. And I can understand why I would have given it a D if well, we'll talk about that in the grade section. Let's talk about the taste. So everything I said about it was true, except for it is a lot sweeter than I expected it to be. I expected it to be a mostly spice heavy root beer, while it is definitely closer to that side than maybe a root beer that I would normally give a high score. I don't really think that it's too offensive. I actually I don't really mind it. Again, I feel like I'm talking more in the sense of why I would choose a grade or something right now. So as far as the flavor goes, it's what the problem I'm having is it's pretty much like standard flavor. Like, nothing really stuck out specifically, good or bad. It tastes like, how sometimes I describe a root beer as it tastes like what you think root beer should taste like. And this definitely is that, even more so maybe than some other root beers that I've said that about. It is a perfectly down the middle flavor profile to it. It is not too sweet, not too crazy with the licorice and flavors and stuff like that, like I expected it to be, considering the previous score. Yeah, so let's go ahead and because there isn't a lot to say about the profile, I will say it's got a good bite to it. And really, I mean, yeah, like, again, I don't really have a lot to say about this one. It's just very, very root beer. So tastes like a root beer barrel candy. There you go. That's a good way to describe it. Anyway, yeah, let's get into the letter grade. So before I was talking about how I was having a hard time describing the flavor because the flavor is not really anything to write home about. It's very standard. So I did take the opportunity in the meantime while sitting with the flavor kind of in my mouth, to go ahead and read my old review, because normally I wouldn't do that, but because, like I said, I'm a little confused why I gave it such a low grade originally. And apparently the bottle that I had the first time that I reviewed this left a really strange kind of, like, I described it as a musty kind of aftertaste in my mouth. And I will say that that is not here in this bottle. So perhaps the original one that I did, the original review, maybe just the bottle of root beer that I had, because that's a thing that you know, we can't really, that we don't talk about a lot, is that you know, the age of the root beer and how long it's been on a shelf. Like, these are all things that we don't always consider when it comes to the reviews, because, you know, we don't always know what the freshness of a bottle of root beer is. And you just got to kind of review it bottle by bottle. And, you know, if you get a bad bottle, sometimes that just leads to a bad grade. And I think in this case, the original review, which, as I said before, was a D, was you know, without that musty aftertaste, I think that this definitely deserves a C, which is what I'm giving it. Because, like I said, it doesn't do anything overly well. It doesn't do anything bad, really. It's just right in the middle, and that's nothing. That's not a negative thing at all. It's a good thing. And so, yeah, you know, they're really the hardest part about this is that it's so in the middle that there's really not a whole lot to say about it. So, yeah, C. So that's it for this review. Of course, as always, if you enjoy these reviews, they come out every single Friday. And if you would like to be notified when they come out, you can go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and then turn on notifications, and they'll pop up and everything. Also, of course, you can follow me on twitch.tv/onebadveggie, where I occasionally do streams. And I can actually say that now because I had been doing streams. I did some Halloween streams with Soma, and I haven't finished Soma yet. I still plan on finishing it at this time anyway. Who knows? By the time that this comes out, I could have finished it on the stream or not. I want to get back into doing more Gunpla builds on stream. And otherwise, that's really it. Oh, that's right. I also added a secondary channel. If you go into this channel and look on the other channels button, whatever that is, I can't remember. I think it just says other channels or something like that. It's OBV VOD. So for people who used to watch my Gunpla build videos, I've decided that my full VODs, you know, like sometimes they're 3 hours, 2 hours to, well, let's just say 2 hours to 4 hours long. I felt that kind of content wasn't really particularly good for this channel, so I moved those over to the VOD channel. So that way, if you're interested in watching the full Gunpla things, if you're interested in watching the full video game streams, then I'm uploading those there for you to check out. So because I just didn't think that unedited content was very good for this particular channel. So all the unedited streams and everything like that are all over there now. So go ahead and take a look. Yeah, like I said, right now it's mostly just the streams I've done so far this year, and actually last year too, and all my Gunpla streams. So, and yeah, that's basically it for now. So I hope you had a good time.